Welcome to the Potter Blog site. It's Wednesday, January 11th, 2012. Have an alert to issue this evening. Two things. One, mentioned by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission today in an event report, and a serious issue at North Anna's nuclear plant, a reactor leak that occurred almost 2 weeks ago that is surprisingly has been missing from the NRC nuclear event reports. But first we'll make a pass at these radioactive Kleenex holders. Here's the event report from the NRC. These are basically metal radioactive boxes. They were sent to Bed Bath & Beyond. And here's a picture from Bed Bath & Beyond. And here's a, you notice the mirror finish on these. There are dual ridge bath ensemble, specifically this tissue holder. But this issue goes beyond just this tissue holder. This could be any metal that's come out of this location. Here's the company that imports it in the United States. It's this dual ridge line. Show you a quick image of it. Pops up. There it is. And specifically, they appear to be talking about this unit here, although it may be in a mirrored finish. What's happened is the Kleenex box holder, the metal has been contaminated with radioactive Cobalt 60, which lasts for a very long time. It's about 600 times background level. It was detected in a truck in California that was at a weigh station. 2 box loads, both of them read approximately 6 milligrams per hour, which is 600 times background radiation. This occurred on January 6th, January 5th, 2012 is when this occurred. So less than a week after these radioactive containers, Kleenex boxes, as the NRC calls them here, were discovered. There's an NRC event report detailing the issue, and fortunately it appears as if Bed Bath & Beyond has responded appropriately, because this is a cached page. If you try to go to the Bed Bath & Beyond webpage, product no longer exists. And we actually went to a local Bed Bath & Beyond store today and did a radioactive survey of the store and tested various of these products. They didn't have this specific one in stock, but we found no radioactivity locally. But we'll get into this in some more detail. Now, I wanted to juxtapose that to this report that the NRC has not discussed at all yet. And this occurred, I believe, on Monday, January 2nd, almost 2 weeks ago. North Anna nuclear plant, the title says, reactor leak causes partial shutdown. For those of you unfamiliar, back in August, North Anna nuclear plants, Unit 1 and 2, underwent a major earthquake, 5.8, that exceeded their design basis. The NRC, in its wisdom, decided to inspect heavily Unit 2, the Unit 2 reactor. And based on a lack of findings, they decided that they did not need to inspect the Unit 1 reactor. So they just decided to start things up. Well, this is the second time this plant has had to cycle and go into at least a partial shutdown because of a fault that has correlated to this earthquake that occurred. You know, in essence, this is the equivalent of 2 jet airliners crashing, or should I say crash landing, and the FAA just inspecting one airplane and saying, oh, this one airplane's okay, so the other airplane in the crash must be okay too. So they're both okay to fly. That's in essence what has happened here in North Anna. And what's going on is, we think of it as nuclear Russian roulette. They're just starting this plant up and seeing what happens. So far it's had to shut down, or partial shutdown, twice since August because of this. Now, there's 2 or 3 significant issues here with this. One is, this one here was a manual shutdown. Every time a nuclear facility manually shuts down, probabilistically, that's the greatest chance where you're going to have a problem. And that's because people are mucking around with the system and they can mess things up. The other issue with this is every time this plant cycles, it affects the fatigue life of the plant. And you're basically turning the plant on and off, hot and cold. How many times can it handle? We don't know. What was the exact cause of this reactor leak here? What happened? What was reported? We don't know. The only initial report we have is from an FM radio station in Virginia. I guess somebody spotted the steam leak. It was also picked up by some other news stations. And it's been reported now that the plant is back up to full power. Question is why is it not in the NRC event reports? We've been looking for it for the last 2 weeks, waiting to see for it to come up. Well, yeah, it wouldn't be hard to surmise that if you okay a nuclear plant to start, and it starts and fits and rumbles and possibly has problems because it wasn't inspected to the same level as the Unit 2, this could be very embarrassing at a minimum. So we would expect them to delay reporting this as long as possible. But the key here is people living in North Anna, downwind or downstream, cannot rely on these event reports to give them notification that there's an issue there. It's just utterly, it's amazing. Yeah, it's utterly untrustworthy. So, and one thing we recommend here, or we say it would be wise for anyone in the North Anna threat zone to take cost-effective risk mitigation measures. You know, the cheapest and simplest is just to have a plan. Have some key items ready to go, which paperwork you would take with you. Maybe nothing will happen. And you pray that nothing will happen. But some smart, simple, cost-effective things could give you a definitive edge if something does happen. You know, the first thing would be to have a plan. The second would be to purchase some Iosat, which is a thyroid blocker. And we know not many people will do this, but those of you who are interested, you can go to the Potter Blog site and we list these risk mitigation items here. These are all things we've purchased in the past. Some of the things you might find a cheaper price. With in regard to the Iosat, we specifically recommend that you buy them from Amazon directly. In other words, they should be fulfilled by Amazon. That means Amazon has purchased these and they stock them. Somebody else may be selling them, but Amazon's the one that's holding them and delivering them. The reason we recommend that is because we believe it reduces the risk of phony Iosat. And there may be phony Iosat out there. The second thing, if we lived anywhere near North Anna, we would have this Watts Premier reverse osmosis system. There's a reason we specifically chose this, and if you go to the website and look through the risk mitigation information, it's the only one that really meets the needs. Gives you the best overall protection against organic vapors and against radioactivity in solid form. There has been previously, this same system has been significantly cheaper at Costco. So for all these things you might want to shop around. Then another thing that might be wise, higher priced, is an inspector radiation meter. Amazon seems to have the best price at the moment. If I lived anywhere near North Anna, I would leave this thing on all the time and set the alert levels so that the alarm on the Geiger counter goes off if something radioactive comes by. It's sad to say that we're at that level. At least if we lived anywhere North Anna, we would be at that level. Do what you can cost effectively. You know, nothing may ever happen, at least not in your lifetime. But if it does, you know, at least with purchasing the Iosat and maybe some carbon filter masks, you've got an edge over everybody else around you for under $30. Again, just the amazing thing is, it's been over 2 weeks almost, and nothing from the NRC about this. We really don't know what's going on there. So let's go back to the Bed Bath & Beyond thing again here in a moment. And what I'll say is, you know, based on what we've seen from Bed Bath & Beyond, I think we'd be much happier if Bed Bath & Beyond were running North Anna, because Bed Bath & Beyond seems to have its act together. You know, they've pulled these things off the shelves. We've gone through the store. We've specifically aimed for materials like this, and these were specifically made in India. And the company here, New Steel, and it's also known as Dahar Group, seems to import things from India. Can't say for certain that this steel actually came from India. The Indians may have bought it from Chinese, since the Chinese produce a lot of steel. It's unknown. But basically what we believe has happened is that a Cobalt 60 source has basically been recycled and gotten into the recycling of steel or chrome. And so there's some very hot steel or chrome out there. Now, is this going to kill you immediately if you have it in your house? Well, thank God, it's encased in steel. It'll be radioactive for a hell of a long time, but you're not going to be breathing it in. But the risk is greater than just this container here. The risk is greater because it's the steel that's the issue. It's the steel that's been contaminated. And there's no telling what else the steel is in. I mean, God forbid that this steel is in a dental implant somewhere. If you've got this steel in a dental implant, you're getting 6 millirem an hour for the rest of your life while that dental plant's in there. If it's in a necklace or jewelry, you're going to be wearing hot jewelry for a very long time. The best advice we could give you is avoid buying anything steel made in India. And it doesn't necessarily mean to avoid these people, although when we did go to Bed Bath & Beyond, we checked their products, especially the ones made in India, and we did not find anything radioactive. But they also sell these to hotels. Every one of these items is available in hotels, wherever else. And say if we wanted to put together the absolute worst case scenario out of this. Somebody at a hotel has this, sneezes on this container, he has the flu, mutates the flu, you check into the room, touch the container, now you've got mutated swine flu killing you. Now the odds of that are very, very low. But this is actually a reasonably dangerous situation. The incredible thing is that this product came all the way from India through New Jersey, was shipped across the country into California, and was captured at a way station. No telling how long it's been going on, no telling what else is affected. But from what we can tell now, at least Bed Bath & Beyond, it seems to have handled the situation well. Maybe they should be in charge of North Anna Nuclear. Good night.